you have a good time on the cruise?
Oh, a blast.
Okay, good.
Your cruise was great. And the thing is, I'm sitting there preparing for the cruise, right? Like, I don't know. When I get asked to do something under the banner of somebody else's thing, I take it very seriously, even though it's like jokes. You're still like, all right, I want to come prepared. I want to do my thing right. And then, oh my God, just I'm preparing. You're like, I'm preparing for an hour, by the way.
Right.
And you go, 15 minutes. I go, 15 minutes? This is great. I get a free vacation. I get to hang.
It's the best gig to have.
This is the best. Literally, I go out on stage and I like to kick the tires because the minute I go out, I just do a little crowd work to set a little precedent, and I look at these two women to my right, and I go, "Oh, are you guys mother?" Now, I'm going to preface this by saying every time you're a comic and you're on the stage, I'm sure you guys are aware of this. There's lighting patterns or whatever, and so the way I was standing or whatever, the way the light was hitting. There was a woman that just looked a little older. And I go, hey, are you guys mother-daughter? It's like, no, this is my friend. This is my best friend. And I
think because they were the same age, it was confusing. Like to them, they're like, are you saying are we mother and daughter? So I think they were confused and you were in the lights and it was a little awkward.
It was a little awkward, but I was setting up a joke. Right. Just a typical crowd work joke that I have, right? Yeah. And so I'm setting the joke up and I'm just assuming. And the more I talk to this girl, the more I'm digging myself a hole deeper and deeper. And then I find out it's your sister, and you couldn't and then your dad's there.
My dad was going to kill you.
Yeah, I wanted to kill me.
I have never. My dad cannot. You could have said whatever you want about me. But he was there with his wife and my sister.
Oh my God.
It got to the point where he moved and I moved. I thought I was going to have to hold him back. Right. He was old school. I thought he was ready to go. And I had explained to him that not only are you a comedian, but you're also my friend. Right. And we need to let him live. He's got kids of his own.
I was literally going to swim with the fishes.
Yeah. It was dangerously close to becoming uncomfortable, which was awesome. I mean,
good for you,
story.
But I'm sitting there, I'm preparing this whole time, like a smidge of nervousness because you want to do well when it's for friends, right?
Yeah.
And literally, worst case scenario happens within, I'd say 15 seconds.
So the funny thing about that is, do you feel like you have a sixth sense when it comes to audiences that you
apparently not?
But that wound up being hilarious. And
we turn it around, yeah.
And then the lady who's facing the other way, and you point her out, and then she winds up being an interpreter for a deaf guy.
I mean, they were just back to back.
It was wild.
It was great because apparently the first 30 seconds of my set, everybody in that room was deaf.
No, I thought you were very funny.
Look, it all turned around. And by the way, the best compliment I got that evening was from your father.
Oh, really?
And he told me
that he was going to kill you until you made him laugh.
and then he goes, you flipped me. And he goes, boy, that was such a great set. When you come out, you got to let me know. And just very,
it
was just
very funny, Steve. I remember you had a lot of political stuff in there. A
lot of monologue.
Yeah. It was very funny.
Thank you. It was
great.
It was one of those things where I felt like I regressed 15 years of my career. Was like, how did I put myself in this situation? You got to be smarter than this. But at the end of the day, it almost became a joke within the joke, and your sister became such a great part of it that I went back to her 2 or 3 times, owning the situation, and then it becoming a bigger part of the show, which was great.
Yeah,
so
when you got a group of people like that too, they love that. That's a memory for everybody that was there. You know.
Yeah, it was. Boy, that was not fun.
Do you know some of my best stories I've ever heard come from you? The 2 greatest, funniest stories are you slapping the coffee out of Jim Norton and Bobby Kelly's hand, and then you with the nickels in the slot machine. Those are 2 of the funniest goddamn stories I've ever heard in my life.
I love that both of them involve Bobby Kelly because
course.
If there's an individual on this planet that deserves just a comeuppance every now and then, it is Robert Kelly. Mm-hmm. I love anytime you get to make Bobby feel awful.
We had the fattest conversation on the phone yesterday. He called me up and he was like, we're talking about something, and I said something about lobster. Oh, I had a lobster salad for lunch. He goes, "Can I tell you? I don't like lobster." He goes, I feel like it's got no
He's from
taste.
Boston.
It's true. He said, I'm from Boston. And he goes, and I don't like lobster. And I go, interesting. I'm Italian. Don't like spaghetti. And
Really?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't like spaghetti either. And then
Bobby also doesn't like writing. I'm joking.
but then he went into, you know what I do like is a penne or a rigatoni. And I go, or rigatoni is better. And then it turned into, this is two guys on the phone. Then he's like, you know what you don't see anymore? A good ravioli. A ravioli. And my wife turns around and she goes,
Neither of
"Are
you
guys
ain't eating all day, right?"
Yeah, she's
Is
like,
that it?
you fat idiots going to talk about pasta all night on the phone? We're just going back and forth on what a better pasta is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best. Nothing makes me laugh more than his anger.
Well, his anger, when you're on the receiving end of it, it's not fun. But
it is when you know how to push his buttons while he's doing it.
Sure.
To make him angrier while he's angry is fantastic.
Well, actually, last time I was in Tampa, he was in town, and I was like, oh, who's playing at Side Splitters? And I went down, I watched, and just got to hang out with him. And I'm telling you, from what I remember back in the cellar of him just being, just a very energetic, physical, selling it kind of comic where you knew he wasn't phoning it in.
Yeah.
It's like he was, just like Rudy. He's like a Rudy of like just all effort and, would kill, but there's no execution other than that. And then to see it all come together and coalesce.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I was, and his last special, I was like, dude, this is the best version of you I've ever seen, and literally one of the best hours I've seen put together. Because I think what happens is people understand when you're at Netflix level, it's like they're not just looking at the comic, right? They're looking less at the material and more kind of at socials and ticket sales,
Yeah.
right?
Which is
And
crazy.
so somebody like Bobby is going to kind of walk between the raindrops.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm telling you, that hour deserved a bigger platform. That hour deserved to be on Netflix in the big leagues.
The one good thing that came out of the fact that, it did very well.
And I hate saying that, by the way. It pains me.
It did very well for him at Louis C.K.'s platform.
Sure.
But the good thing is that whale of a Bobby that was on stage then compared to the skinny ass
It's
Bobby that now is
wild.
unbelievable. He looks like a little humpback on stage there, and now he's in such great shape that his next special, the next one that gets on Netflix or wherever it makes it with him at Skinny Bobby, would probably be a lot better for him.
He should just do the same material but skinny.
Is it as
Skinny
funny?
version?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like Taylor Swift instead of Taylor's version, Bobby's skinny
Yeah.
version. Oh, that's hilarious. That is so funny. Yeah, he is one of the funniest. All you guys, all you guys together, we're lucky to have a good group of core friends of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby's done amazing for him. And I'm just so happy for him.